Hey folks, it's Rob Flux here with an Ask Rob Anything, and that is where you, if you are an annual member, can take the time to ask me anything that you want, and I'm going to do my very, very best to help you and the rest of the community at the exact same time with their particular problem. Now, today we have a brand spanking new member of our community. His name is Hoang. He lives in Sydney, but he has a development site in Brisbane that he's got a bit of a problem with. Hey, Hoang, how are you, mate?
Hi, how are you, everyone?
Mate, tell us a little bit about what is the problem that you've got at the moment. So you've got a development site and you've got someone who wants to buy it. So tell me the background as to what's happening here.
The background is I don't have much experience in real estate, and I get a contract with a developer. He wanna buy my house with delay settlement, 12 months, and I'm a little bit worried because the timeline is too long.
Because the timeline is too long.
Yeah,
Um,
and a lot of uncertainty. During that timeline.
okay, so what kind of uncertainty are you worried about? Tell me a little bit about the kind of contract that he's offered. Like, is it a standard contract? Is it an option contract? Is it a joint venture? What's he offered?
It's in the standard contract.
Okay, standard contract. So in Queensland, that is an REIQ contract. And are there any special conditions in there?
Yeah, there are some special condition in there like 60-day due diligence. If they are satisfied, they gonna have a 1 year settlement.
Look, from a firstly, I can't give you any legal advice here. Okay, but so I'm just going to tell you how the mind of a developer actually works here.
Yep.
Okay, and so when they're taking on a site that has, I guess, an element of risk associated with it, then they will often put in a due diligence clause. Now, due diligence clause allows them the ability to control the property for a small period of time. And in your instance, you've said 60 days in order for them to do all of the relevant checks that they need to prove
Yep.
whether they can actually achieve the development they want to achieve. Okay. So for your side, that is the only period of time that the contract is, I guess, not unconditional. So during that 60 days is the only risk element that you've got as to whether or not they're going to proceed or not proceed. Okay. So from that side of things, whether 60 days is the right amount of time is really relevant to what is the kind of problems that they need to solve. If it's a very simple deal, then they don't need much due diligence. If it's a very complex deal, then they might need quite a bit of due diligence. Okay. Now, I think you said that they were looking to potentially put a childcare centre in this when we were having our pre-chat. So they might want to do a little bit of checks, for example, to understand what the demands of the area are. So are there enough children to support that childcare centre? Is there enough passing traffic on that particular road to make sure that people are going to see the childcare centre? Because it's a very commercial type arrangement. So 60 days might seem like a long time, but at the same time, it might be what they need in order to, I guess, do the checks on that particular property. Now, I'm not going to tell you because I can't give you advice here. I can only give you, I guess, the mind of a developer. But I can tell you that is the period of time if for any reason at all they terminate the contract inside those 60 days, then they get all their money back and they can walk away and they never settle. Okay. But once they pass that due diligence phase and they say, yes, our due diligence is satisfied, then it rolls over into the full contract, and any excuse me, any other conditions that you've got in the contract now come into a force, and they're now legally committed to complete that contract. Okay. So the settlement timeline you said was 12 months. You would then wait for the balance of time. So you said 60 days up front and 12 months in total. So there's going to be 10 months left. You'd have to wait for 10 months to get the money, but you're reassured that the contract is unconditional. So that means that the money will come. Okay. Now, this is a very common tactic that property developers do because holding costs us money. Okay. Now, I'm not going to talk about how much money they're offering you. I'm just going to talk about a hypothetical price, okay? Because I don't want to let anyone know what the offer is, okay? But let's just imagine your property was $1 million, okay? If they paid for that today, they'd have to pay interest for that year. That might be at the moment at 6.5% interest rate. So that's $65,000 in holding costs. They'd have to pay rates. They'd have to pay land tax. So by the time they pay all those things, they'd have about $100,000 worth of holding costs. So by delaying it by 12 months, they save $100,000 in their project, which means that they can pay you $100,000 more, but their profitability doesn't change. So it allows them to give you more money and them not have to cash flow that during the year. So it's a win for you and it's a win for them. And that's a very common tactic that property developers do. As a matter of fact, it's one of the 7 low and no money down strategies that I teach people on how to control a property and manage the cash flow so you can do deals when you're trying to manage that cash flow really well. Does that help you to actually understand what they're trying to achieve?
Yes.
Okay.
Very clear.
Very clear. Now, my huge amount of guidance, I can't give you advice. I can't give you legal advice. You must get a solicitor to review the due diligence clause and review the rest of the contract and make sure that there are no other little loopholes that they've put in there to actually get out of it. But from how they've described it, it is a relatively simple contract. The question the question now becomes, is that the timeline that you're happy with, and is it the price point that you're happy with? And if you're okay with that, done deal. If you're not happy with that, then you've still got a little bit of negotiation, but now you understand what they're negotiating on and why they're able to give you that higher price point, because you've saved them that cash flow.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Okay, mate.
Yes.
I say thank you very much for your question. And for anyone else out there, if you've got a question and you are an annual member, that is the important part. If you're an annual member, click on the link below in order to become an annual member. If you want to ask Rob anything, then you can do exactly the same as Juan has done here and book an appointment and schedule a question and see if you can stump the guru. Till then, folks, I'm going to say bye for now. Bye.